The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Tuesday, the 19th day of March, 2024. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. And Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. How are you, sir? I can't.
Sorry, I'm making some of your mistakes. I am good. Busy weekend. Jamal's godson Mason was sick this weekend, so that made it for a bit of a rough time, but we navigated through and is back feeling his normal self.
Well, that's all I want to hear. His back to norm. His back to say, hey, when children got sick, it's like parents like, yo, that's it for whatever plans you had. That's it, right?
So I had a whole workout. How I was gonna, let's kick that to the curb.
How was everybody else's weekend? Anybody else do anything fun? I was currently in my semi-retirement. I traveled this past weekend and did some fun stuff. Low road trip to Connecticut from Rhode Island, and hung out with Connor a bit, and then went to his game, the Rhode Island FC game. Did you guys see me on ESPN? Did anyone see me on ESPN? Anyone?
On ESPN.
You saw me on ESPN?
No, I said no.
No, you
well, however, I didn't see the game.
I was that little, I could see me if I was watching, but I put it on while we were at the game. It was on ESPN, and I put it on, and I saw myself. Nobody else who was with me seemed to see us, but I saw me, we purposely set, so in the US, you know how you have those people who bang the drums all game and all that. So I purposely got tickets behind the goal next to them, so it was loud, and they were, messing with my asthma. There's flare things that order and all that. They bought all that stuff out, and your boy was and all that stuff. But it was a great atmosphere, and congratulations to Connor, Bermudian in that space, black coach in that space. Team drew the game at the death, like literally at the end, and then had a final opportunity to win it. So wishing him a lot more success. Won't be my last game going up there. They check him out. You know what else I did? You've been to the aquarium lately with Mason, right, bro?
Yeah, we go quite regularly.
Yeah, I went to the Mystic Aquarium in Connecticut as well. So the beluga whales.
Oh, you have to put that on our list now. Yeah,
it was the beluga whales. And I went to a seal show too. You all know me. I'm not like an animal in captivity kind of guy. I'm not. But it was a lot of conservation. Like they were educating you as to, it was an interesting aquarium per se, and if you're not familiar with Mystic Aquarium, I believe when they found that seal recently in Bermuda, remember they found a seal like last year or before, that's where they sent it to Mystic Aquarium. They sent it to Mystic Aquarium in Connecticut to rehab. So it's like a aquarium rehab facility, I guess, where they do a lot of work. But it was pretty cool, man. It's pretty cool.
So I have a quick question for you. Did you feel like sometimes you go to these aquariums and the animals just look like they want to be set free? Did you get that vibe from the aquarium?
I didn't, because I didn't realize that beluga whales were so like the comedians. Like they're like, yo, jump in here and play with me. I'm like, nah, I jump in there, play it, you eat me, and I don't let get out the story. Yeah,
I got you.
Yeah, but I don't like animals in captivity. Let me just be clear. I would not go to SeaWorld and stuff. Good morning, says Anika De Shields. Says, good morning, TDH. Good morning, all, says Jamaica Smith. And Suzanne Ingham says, humid Tuesday to you, Jamel and Larry. It's 93 humidity, breeze and gusts to 40 miles per hour. Good to have you again this week, Larry. I mean, my goodness, just join Maya for her weathercast. There you go. Thank you, Suzanne.
I feel the humidity this morning.
Yeah. All right, so looks like no one else had fun this weekend. No one has anything to tell us. So that's my story for the weekend. But let's get into the conversation. I see that Bermuda Air celebrated their inaugural flight to Baltimore yesterday. Congratulations to them. Hold on. You know,
Hey, did you do? Sorry. Good morning.
I
don't recall you doing good morning, TDH family.
Oh, right. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. It's just me. All right.
Greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today. We're gonna actually discuss the recently expanded air service to Bermuda and get your thoughts on that. The daily play is going to be a remember when. And don't forget to subscribe on our website, follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thank you for that, Larry. This is why two is better than one. All right, here we go. Let's jump into today's conversation. So, if you don't know, the BTA hailed expanded 2024 non-flight services to Bermuda. So let's just go down a list. I'm just going to read from the email the BTA sent. So we've got American Airlines nonstop Charlotte to Bermuda, also DC to Bermuda, JFK to Bermuda, Miami to Bermuda, and Philadelphia to Bermuda. That's all American Airlines. Then we've got our good friends at Bermuda Air. It's Boston to Bermuda, Fort Lauderdale to Bermuda. HPN, I believe, is White Plains to Bermuda. MCO, believe, is Orlando to Bermuda, and BWI, Baltimore to Bermuda. Delta has Atlanta to Bermuda and JFK to Bermuda. JetBlue has Boston to Bermuda, JFK to Bermuda, and United has EWR, which is Newark to Bermuda. Question from that right there, folks, just that what we just named just now, what other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? What I didn't read just now is Air Canada or British Airways. So it must be just the nonstop flights to the United States. So
I know on the map that came out, it actually had Canada, and I definitely knew they went across to the other way that showed the British flight.
Yeah, we have that for you as well, folks. We do have that map for you, but unfortunately, I don't know. Oh, here we are. Here we go. Yeah, the BTA did send this map. This is the map that Larry's talking about. But what other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? What other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? Let's start with that. We've got, yeah, that's press release that I just read from the BTA was just Toronto, US, it seemed, based on what I just read. But Toronto is also nonstop, and London. But what other nonstops would you like to see to Bermuda, audience? What do you think would be helpful to Bermuda? So that's what other nonstops would you like to see? And furthermore, what are your thoughts on the expanded air service to Bermuda? What are your thoughts on the expanded air service to Bermuda? What do you think about it? What stands out to you with these expanded nonstop flights? So we've got, again, it looks like we've got well, you can't see down bottom, but you've got Miami, American, Fort Lauderdale, Bermuda Air, Atlanta, Delta, Charlotte, American, Washington, D.C., American, Baltimore, Bermuda Air, United, Newark, JFK is Delta, American, and JetBlue. And then we've got White Plains, I think it is.
Yep.
To Bermuda Air. And then obviously, can't forget Boston. Boston, we've got JetBlue and Bermuda Air. And then we've got Toronto, Air Canada, and in London, we've got British Airways. So what are your thoughts on all of that, folks? What are your thoughts on all of that? What flights would you like to see? What other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? Let's go to the audience real quickly. We've got Traveling Trotty says Dubai. Okay. Why Dubai? I guess that's the question. Why Dubai? We've got YHZ Halifax. People have been calling for Halifax for years, man. Years. Charles H. Jefferson II says somewhere in the Midwest, Chicago or Dallas. I mean, Chicago is the third largest city in the United States. It would make sense. But I know for years many were trying to get a flight to Chicago. I'm not sure, the ins and outs out of it. And folks, when answering this question, think of how it would benefit Bermuda, not yourself as an individual.
Yeah.
How would it? That's how we have to think. I mean, maybe Dubai would benefit Bermuda. I don't know, but how would it? I hate to sound like, I've said this on this show before. These flights are not traveling to Bermuda for Bermudians. We don't have the capacity. Like, we're only 60,000 people. We're not a lot of people. Like, how is it going to benefit Bermuda? Whatever destinations you're thinking, like, how is it going to benefit Bermuda? You buying a ticket going outside of Bermuda doesn't really benefit Bermuda outside that landing tax or whatnot. Anika D. Shield says, on Air Canada should be a connector flight to the Caribbean, Bermuda with stops to various Caribbean islands. She goes on to say direct to Halifax for all of our students. And I think Manuela John said Halifax as well. Traveling Charlie said the government shared that they are working to improve relationships. I don't know what that means.
To Dubai for what's that? This not Saudi, UAE.
Yeah. Does that mean that? I mean, they're working to improve relationships in the Caribbean too. Well, what is improving relation? I'm just trying to understand how does that? How would a flight from there be full coming to Bermuda on a regular basis?
Yeah, I'm interested in that answer.
That's it.
I think we had a different amount of answers that I think we kind of expected. I personally I can get with the Midwest route. Chicago with the business traveler be there. I think the East Coast we have it done. There's plenty of options on the East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as it looks to benefit Bermudians residents, maybe some sort of link to the Caribbean. I'm not saying daily, if it's once a week, bi-weekly, maybe that can be happen. But other than that, do we actually need any more flights? I guess I would ask that question because the business traveler that we usually get comes from either Europe or the East Coast, and yeah, it just has me wondering, okay, we can have these things, but as you said, are they going to be full when they come? So that's what I would say on that matter.
I think you literally broke it down very eloquently just now. Do we really need more roads? I think someone said it, Chicago and Dallas. I think I'm looking in terms of size of population. I think Dallas would be a great connector to the West Coast, as Miami and New York were for years, and also Chicago. I think the opportunities with those two destinations in particular would be awesome for Bermuda. But I also would love to see a direct link with the Caribbean. Like you just said, it doesn't have to be every day.
Yeah.
I think for me, 3 options stand out. 3 options for new routes, and that would be Chicago in the Midwest because it's the 3rd largest city in the United States based on population. Dallas or Austin, right, in the Southwest. And then here's 2 other things I'd like to see. Anyone who loves going to Atlanta or Bermudians living in Atlanta or Bermuda would love to see a competitor.
Yes.
And then people who are flying in and out of Europe would love to see a competitor. People in and out of Canada. So I would say new roads, Chicago, Dallas, and somewhere in the Caribbean, right? Competing routes, I would love to see options for more options for Atlanta, maybe Canada and London.
Yeah, I like that. And even if you go back if you remember AirTran, they competed with Delta at one point in time, and the prices were pretty comparable. You know what I mean? Once you take that option out, it kind of goes. But at that time, more people were coming to Bermuda. I still, with respect to the bigger question that you asked today,
Mhm.
the beds. We don't have the beds. We need these hotels. So it's lovely that we have these flights. Locals will benefit from it more, but will that tourist dollar hit our shores? And without these beds, we have things in the works. What Grotto Bay wants to expand. We all know about the new South P project. But currently, this summer, we don't have there's extra beds, and I'm hopeful we just find a way. We find a way, I should say.
Mhm. Well, I think that's the big one. That's the big one. Is there's no sense having all these flights direct to Bermuda if there's no beds for people to sleep in. Well, and that's a positive because I think I read somewhere that Grotto Bay was adding 53.
53 rooms, yeah.
53. So again, it has to be it's more than just having the options and flights. And again, folks, these flights not making decisions based on Bermuda's wants. They're making business decisions. Business decisions means where can they get the best bang for their buck, which is why some of them shorten their seasons to Bermuda and head down to the Caribbean. All right. What are your thoughts, audience? What are your thoughts on the expanded service to Bermuda, and what other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? What other nonstop flights would you like to see to Bermuda? Let's go back to the audience. We've got Sierra Lachey says, I'd like to see a direct flight to Texas. I think Houston's the fourth largest city in the U.S., if I'm not mistaken. You've got real opportunities in Texas. Houston, Dallas, Austin. Austin is the new Silicon Valley to many, right? So I think it would only make sense. Manuela John says there were direct flights to Chicago and Halifax years ago. Yes, there were.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were. Tiara Lachey goes on to say, I think there's an opportunity for other Caribbean islands to use Bermuda as their way to the States without standing in that long immigration line. Well, yeah, if their gateway is Miami, my oh my. I think I see your point, Sierra. That's actually a good thought. If you've ever flown through Miami, you absolutely understand what she's talking about.
Yeah, that line is daunting.
Yeah. Now, the thing is, with Bermuda, they would have to go through our immigration line and then the US one. That would probably still be better than going through Miami. I'm just saying. Miami, if you don't, I mean, I've only done it once without global entry. And I feel like I spent an entire night in there. That was the kicker that said, yeah, bro, it's time to get global entry. So that's actually a good idea, Sierra. Hopefully that's something that can be considered. I don't know the ins and outs of the industry, folks. So keep in mind, my opinions are really based on the outside looking in and a bit of experience from working in the destination marketing and tourism industry. But that might be something on Bermuda Air could consider. Like, I remember many years ago, there was a flight from Orlando that stopped in Bermuda before heading to the UK. I think that was British Airways. Anybody remember that? And, back then you could stay on the plane, I think, as they were shifting and more people got on, some people got off. But let us know. I mean, what are your thoughts on that? Bermuda being a gateway island to the US for many Caribbeans.
Yeah, I think Bermuda Air being a key factor in that now. Bermuda Air home base being Bermuda changes the game versus the other airlines where their home base is somewhere else. So being able to make the transition and things like that, it can happen. Again, with the way how you see it, the time and I still see people having to overnight in Bermuda, which still will get the issue of beds, but I definitely think that idea possibly could work.
Yeah, indeed. Sierra Lachey, she speaking to her point about the taxes and them. She said, "My thoughts is it's halfway to LA. Could find a cheaper flight from Texas to anywhere in the U.S. after that." Anika DeShield says, apparently back in the day, Air Canada used to come here, then leave, go direct to other Caribbean islands, and it was a huge success. Yeah, as did British Airways used to stop in Bermuda from the US on its way to the UK. Charles H. Duffs II, he is saying, get global entry. Travel and Trotty global entry is the way to go. It changes your life. And Suzanne Ingham says, any line is better than Miami. Yeah, Miami is raw. Quick question of the audience. Yes or no? Does anyone in the audience, do you have global entry? Yes or no? Let's just do a quick thing. Yes or no? Do you have global entry? You have global entry, bro? No. Yes or no, audience? Do you have global entry? I have to see when mine I got mine. It shouldn't be expired because I got it during the pandemic when no one was traveling. But do you have global entry? Yes or no? Yes or no? Traveling Trotty says yes. Shika Rena says yes. Suzanne Ingham says no. Manuela John says no. We gotta give Sierra. She got it. She said, "I got it." There you go. So she hasn't used it.
Later for you peasants,
right? It's just gonna be like, oh, stay over that side. No, it's a game changer. Angeline Butler says no, not yet. NTS says yes. Marquita Lee says no. Shawnette Bell says no. Charles H. Schaff says yes. How do I say this without coming across like one of those folks? Folks, it will change your life. Honestly, I've always been a stickler. If you know me, I have a few pet peeves. Respect the person who is serving you. Like, don't talk down to a waiter or like, seriously, if you do that kind of stuff, I probably don't want to be around you ever again, right? If you talk down to people. But the other thing, respect and time. Like, I'm big on time. If I'm on time for something, my old boss, Elroy Smith, said to be on time is to be late, right? I am a stickler for time, and I let myself down if I'm on time or a second late. Mm-hmm. With global entry, I no longer show up 3 hours prior to a flight. Oh, yeah, people used to get mad traveling with me because I was that guy. Because anything could happen, right? Now, you ask my pops. My pop like, hey, you got to be, man, look, I'll get there at this time because I'm confident in my global entry.
Yeah. It's the efficiency. It's the efficiency.
Yeah, man. It's like, no, mind you, last 2 times I've left Bermuda, I've had a little issue here and there. I mean, guy said to me, U.S. Customs says, you're the first person I've had to take through secondary who has global entry. I mean, I am who I am. I'm mad at him for doing that. I am who I am, whatever. But in saying all that, honestly, folks, global entry will change your life. It is the most convenient thing. And I would encourage anyone who travels at least 3 times a year from Bermuda to get it. To just ease. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get searched. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get a secondary. It's not perfect in terms of everything. But what it will do is, if you're ever coming back through Miami or traveling somewhere, it gives you TSA pre-check. You don't have to take all your stuff out. And it's just easy, convenient flying. It will change your flying experience unless you have a reputation like me. All right.
And you still get benefits.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah, it's the efficiency, and if you work in that business space or like you said, travel back and forth frequently for family and stuff, it's probably worth considering to try and get it.
Yeah, I would agree. Real quick, we're gonna bring Maya in. We're gonna take a quick commercial break before we bring Maya in. Got an extended news break as we have not been here for a while. So we're gonna take an extended news break. Real quickly, you all know that I no longer watch Manchester United, right?
I knew you was gonna bring this up this week.
Well, I saw someone on Instagram. I saw a comment. Someone said Manchester or Liverpool. So I want to answer a question. So I realized that I was at Mystic Aquarium on Sunday, and because I had ESPN on my phone, so I just turned the game on. And when I turned it on, Manchester United had scored in the final minute of extra time, and I found myself running around in a circle, and people at the aquarium didn't know what was wrong with this guy.
The man says it's a neutral, folks.
That's not neutral, but
that's not neutral behavior.
Manchester United beating Liverpool, man, it don't get no better than that. So I am going back in my corner. I'm going back in my corner of as a neutral. But let's go to a break. After we come back, we'll bring Maya in. Larry, just celebrate with me for a second, man. Jeez, stick with us.
Let's face it, life can be a little wild, but shopping doesn't have to be. I choose Peoples, so that whether it's a prescription that needs to be filled, a toy for my little terror, or a gift for a new addition to the family, we'll see about that. Everything's available in one convenient location. Some call it Peoples, I call it my one-stop shop in the city. Peoples, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again, folks. If you've appreciated this morning's discussion, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. I'm Jamal Hartman. He's Larry Marshall Jr. And make sure you give thanks with us to the BAC group of companies, Medical Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can do this with you on a daily basis. And don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Hey, Macy Mace.
Good morning. Have a good day.
There you go. You heard it straight from Mason himself, folks. He said, have a great day. All right. Well, Mason, Maddox, they all just come and show up. And let's bring MP in for her news break. See what she's got for us today. It's been a long weekend, so I know she's got a jam-packed one for us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Well, hello, MP. How are you?
Morning.
I'm having a different type of morning this morning. As Jamal knows, I dented my old faithful laptop, so I'm back on the desktop trying to make things work. I had to rearrange my whole studio last night. It's been a morning.
Well, at least you have a desktop. Now you got me considering one.
It is a blessing, though, I must admit. I was like, at least I have this. I still have a backup.
Yeah, when my laptop shut down, I was grateful I never threw away my old one. Nobody knew the difference. Even though it didn't have any memory on it, I was still able to do the show while the main one went into the store. But folks, the things we have to go through with technology to make sure we're here on a daily basis with you.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Oh, good morning, everyone. This is your Daily Out News brought to you by the great people at People's Pharmacy. So starting out your news this morning, things you probably don't want to hear, but you should be aware of. So Bermuda Police Service is seeking the public's assistance in locating 17-year-old Arcadis Rollins. So Mr. Rollins is described as being 5 foot 1 inches in height, slim and medium built, dark complexion with black hair worn in an afro. He was last seen in the area of Court and Victoria Street in the city of Hamilton shortly after 10:30 a.m. on Monday, March the 18th. At the time, he was wearing a red shirt, red shorts, a red beanie, and a black puffer jacket and black shoes. So anyone with the information on the whereabouts of 17-year-old Arcadis Rollins is asked to call the main police number at 295-0011 as well. You can always talk to an officer whom you know as well.
If you know something, say something, people.
Yeah.
Exactly. And now, yes, the weekend was quite busy. I believe earlier last week, there was multiple either collisions or instances where the police had to be out in the community. But recently, a man on a motorcycle is currently in critical condition in the hospital's intensive care unit. So what happened was around 9:15 on Saturday, March the 16th, police and first responders were dispatched to a serious road traffic collision involving a motorcycle and a motor car on North Shore Road, Hamilton Parish. Now, reports are that the man on the motorcycle was actually traveling east on North Shore Road when he attempted to overtake a line of traffic. He collided with a motor car just west of Francis Patton Primary School and was ejected from the bike into the roadway. He sustained multiple serious injuries and was left unconscious. Upon arrival at the scene, police officers immediately commenced life-saving procedures until emergency medical services attended the scene. The motorcyclist was immediately transported to the hospital for his treatment of his injuries, And at last check, he was listed in critical condition in the hospital intensive care unit. The motorcar driver was not hurt, but was left visibly shaken by the incident. And again, anyone who knows anything about this or has witnessed it can contact Constable Douglas on 717-0964 or contact an officer that you know.
Definitely wishing him a speedy recovery.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's definitely a dangerous one there. So I hope so with him and his family right now. Now, in other news, the government is releasing a TV series meant to shed light on Bermuda's education reform journey. So basically, the education reform unit announced that the upcoming series called Building Bridges, a 5-week television series exploring the journey of Bermuda's education reform journey. So it's meant to debut yesterday, actually, on ZBM, and it will also be up on CITV and Channel 82 as well. So basically, the Minister of Education, Diallo Bain, said this series aims to foster community awareness and support by sharing our journey so far, and I'm thankful to the Education Reform Unit for highlighting our commitment to our schools and our future leaders. Together, we're shaping a brighter future, end quote. Now, each episode of Building Bridges will address the following topics that you see on the screen there: a vision for change, signature school preparation, learning partners, teacher employment, and celebrating success. Lisa De Silva, the lead for Education Reform and Education Unit, highlight the significance of building bridges by stating, quote, by spotlighting the dedication of stakeholders and the reform journey so far, this series will aim to inspire continued support and engagement in our ongoing efforts to enhance education in Bermuda.
I think, I really think that, it was this thing when the OBA was called the election in June 2017, and Michael Fay and crew were out basically trying to show what they've done and whatnot. And I always said back then, the biggest problem with the OBA is you shouldn't have to tell people what you're doing to benefit them. I feel that way with the PLP as well. You shouldn't have to, you have their diehard supporters that keep saying, oh, they've done this, they've done that. You shouldn't have to tell people. Larry's son was just on the screen. You shouldn't have to tell your son what you do for him. He will grow loving you, knowing what you've done for him, right? With this, the PLP is taking this approach where, we're going to take people along the ride for us. What I think they're missing is, I don't think it's necessarily that people don't understand what you're trying to do. They just disagree with what you're doing and how you're doing it.
So I would question if this is information. And if it's information, as a parent, I'm here for it. Of course, I start to think, well, will it be skewed with a view that is positive to make the ministry look good? Like it's stuff. It's a lot of things. The timelines that haven't been kept is probably the thing that I'm most concerned about with, respect to the reform, the school. The Francis Patton wasn't ready. Parvis wasn't ready this year. And I don't think they've taken ownership of it. You know what I mean? But with this series, I will have a look, obviously, as a parent. But I hope it's just from the scope of is it just going to be informative to say what the plan is versus the normal government pushing, hey, this is what we're doing type situation.
Well, and I think to add to that, I think this government has a tendency to get excited about ideas, plans, and words. But whether it's breaking ground or announcing a hotel deal's been done or announcing it's been a successful budget and we've got this corporate income tax coming, we get excited about words, but the results are so often we're told the results will come this time, that time. Folks, you're literally being I don't want to say lied to, but you're being convinced that something's great is being done. But even if that's true, it won't be felt for another 5-10 years, right? I just want people to think. I don't think I think the Bermuda people are smarter than we appear to the government.
And then how do we hold them accountable? How do we hold them accountable?
Well, one way is to, tune into the news break and engage in these conversations and then take them to your MPs, or when they come on your doorstep, you have these conversations.
Well, if you guys do want to tap into, view this series, it's every Tuesday at 8 p.m. on either ZPM, Channel 2.
They could watch the clips on the Daily Hour. The government should have bought it here. Oh, I'm being serious. They should have bought it on here.
All right.
Heard it here first.
So up next, another government thing that you guys should be aware of. So the government's actually launched a red tape reduction consultation. So in basic terms, anything you believe that the government is doing wrong and can fix, they want you to tell them. So quote, the Bermuda Premier David Burt said, "We want to hear directly from those affected about the obstacles faced and receive recommendations on processes that can be streamlined to reduce frustrations or multiple points of contact with the government to accomplish tasks." So today, members of the public can visit forums.gov.bm and submit their ideas for consideration, and the government will do what we have done since returning to office, which is listen, take on feedback, and act, end quote. So right there on the screen, you can see that this came exactly from forum.gov.bm, what regulations, laws, or processes are necessary or outdated and should be removed to support economic growth and development in Bermuda's economy. That was the question that was posed on the red tape reduction consultation. And here you see some of the answers that have been given. There's about 13 responses so far on the forum.gov.bm. Again, speeding pocket fines, online payments. So these are just the headlines. People did write a lot more things in depth underneath, but this is just a glimpse of what some people are mainly concerned about. Work permits, why are we paying taxes for inefficiency, fire people who cannot do their jobs, deploy a competent person program for renewable energy, convert PRC dependent letters to PRC letters, and there's much more if you want to go to forum.gov.bm.
Where were those responses, Maya?
Forum.gov.bm. If you go in there and then just click the red tape consultation, it's the very first one. There's about 13 responses.
You know what gets me? I mean, that's great and all, but when they say we've been listening to the people our entire time in government, like there's little things that they insert in their statements and whatnot.
And that turns me off, I'll be honest. Go ahead, Jamal.
But it comes, that's it. It's like David Burt is so petty. Like, it's like, grow up, dog. You're the premier. Seriously, homie. Like you are the premier. Like, you don't have to throw me in like we've been, because I guarantee those folks up West End and the East End schools will disagree with you. Or maybe you'll say, well, we've listened. We just haven't done what they would love us to do. Listening's okay. But if you're still going to do what you do, did you really listen?
And now you're leaving yourself open for, at the end of the day, you're the government, you're leading. Not everyone is going to agree with you. And at the end of the day, if you feel like you're doing sound business or sound governance, people will just have to deal with it. You're opening yourself up with this, and it's like, okay, I guess, okay, I don't, how does it benefit us? How does it benefit us having this? They'll listen, they'll say that this, and now it creates an opportunity for the government to say, hey, the people said this, and we have listened, and now we've done this, this, and the other. But at the end of the day, are the Bermudian people, a large part, their base, going to be in a better position?
Yeah, and I think you're right. They are opening themselves up because at some point you have to govern and do what's in the best interest. And what's in the best interest, the people won't always vote for. That's what they call democracy, which is why I don't always think democracy is the best way. That's why we vote people in to make decisions. No, you saying that you're listening, soon as you start to go against what the majority or the people want, they come right back to this. Like Larry said, but what it is, again, an election's coming, folks.
Yeah, it's got to be.
They're going to say all these right things. You know, like Richard Scott said to the comment previously about the schools, that's the question that sits there. Is this initiative genuine or a wonder or words? I mean, nothing's coming across genuine, in my opinion. But I digress. Maya's got more to report on.
Now, as I mentioned last week, so the former Premier, the Honourable Member of Parliament, Michael Dunkley, is retiring from politics after 27 years of service. So I actually spoke with him a bit, and for his reasons as why is 2023, the top reason for him to finally say goodbye. And here's some things that he said.
Let's face it, in life, when you make tough decisions about when you're going to leave something, whether it's politics or when you're going to retire or, stop playing a sport if you're an athlete, it's always a very difficult decision. And I wrestled with this decision for some time because, even Friday in the House, the debate we had on the payroll tax amendment and the government loans amendment and things like that, those were critical debates, and they weren't that difficult for me to prepare for because I knew a lot of the history of what went on in the past. And I started to think, man, you still have so much to offer. But on the other hand, my family's put up with it for a long time. And, I don't know what's promised to anybody tomorrow. but I at least want to have the opportunity to spend some more time doing some things that I've sacrificed through.
You know, that's Larry's constituent there. I don't know if it's going to sit this one out, but I think Michael Dunkley, if I summed up his term in politics, dealing very closely with him regarding conscription. I probably had more conversations with Michael Dunkley in private than any other politician, if I'm honest. And I think he was hard done by, no more than Craig Kennedy, but I think he was hard done by. I think Michael Dunkley is probably the last white person we'll see lead in Bermuda in our lifetime. I think because he was white, he never stood a chance of being given a chance when he became premier in the 2000s, 13, 14, whatever it was. Could he have done more? Every leader could have always done more. But I'm telling you, there are not many people in his position who would have spent that much time in politics. And I have to ask myself, and I'll ask him, what kept you there so long, knowing you didn't need it? Some will say, well, what's wealth without political power? But in Bermuda, honestly, political power is nothing without wealth. I do believe that he was let down by some of his colleagues in the OBA. I've said that to him, and I've said it publicly. He was severely let down by them because there were promises made by the OBA in 2012 that when they got in power, whether it was a gaming referendum, ending conscription, the recall MPs, all of that stuff, that's not just on Craig Kennedy as premier, that's on him as well. So what will his legacy be? I don't know. But what I will say is I am grateful for the conversations I had with him. I wish that he could have done more. I wish that, he would have had more time to actually do some things. But I think some people will remember part of his legacy, if you remove race, that he was the last premier, obviously the preceding one to the one now, where the economy actually seemed to be moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I have no comment about the individual. But I will say what is concerning and what I don't like is MPs stepping away before their full term. It seems like this is happening more and more. And life happens. I get it. I'm not saying, I get it. Each circumstance is different. But maybe we need to start looking at if you decide to take your turn, what can you do to serve out your full term?
I think this was political. I agree with you. And I don't think anyone's spoken about this, but if he's retiring at the end of this month, that actually puts the pressure, like, do we go for a by-election or does it put David Brett in a position to call the election? I think this was a political move by Michael Dunkley. Not saying he wasn't going to retire, but I think this is probably well discussed with the OBA. This is a political move. It's like why he was forced to call the election in June 2017. I think this is on the PLP now. This is on the PLP. So this is not. I agree with you, Larry. Like, if the people have voted you in, unless health or something life changing has forced you out, then yeah, you should have to serve your full term. But no, I think this is political. So I'm surprised no one's talked about this, whether or not David Brett's going to have to drop the writ.
We shall see.
Definitely something to consider and think about. But yeah, I will actually be doing a live with Michael Dunkley at the end of the month when he's actually completed his term. So these are questions I would definitely bring up. But also, he did share with me a story. He says he never actually shared publicly about the day that he was actually sworn in as premier. So let's take a listen to that.
When I got into politics, sometimes things move very quickly. And when the OBA was having its challenges and former Premier Cannonier stepped down, my colleagues turned to me and said, Dunks, you need to step up. You have our support. So, okay, no problem. How do we do it? So I was on my way to Government House, and I'm almost turning in the gate to get sworn in as Premier. And all of a sudden I said, stop the car. And the person driving said, "Why? Would you get cold feet?" I said, "No, I haven't even told my wife yet. So let me at least call my wife and tell her what's going on before she hears it from somebody else."
Well, here's the thing: the controversy surrounding that. You remember the paper that was released in 2012, right? Michael Dunkley has questions to answer about that. Nobody believes that story he just told. People still believe, if you go back to that resignation by Craig Henner, it was BS. He should have never resigned. The PLP have done way worse during COVID times, and you forced this man to resign. But after that, Michael Dunkley became premier, and that entire cabinet was United Bermuda Party. It seemed a setup from the beginning. So I'm not buying that.
Yeah. And again, I think that's what hurt him once they had to go to the election in 2017, because a lot was said, a lot was promised, and they kept trying to go back to America's Cup was good for Bermuda. This is and it's like, but the people are not hearing you. The people the people don't believe that it was beneficial to them.
It came across deceptive. Here's what I've said to Michael Dunkley, and I'll say it to Michael Dunkley and about Michael Fay and Jeff Barron, because those two to me are probably, again, I'll repeat it, the worst two of the bunch. And they know why I feel that way, which is why I'm not connected to either. You fail to realize that what David Byrd and the PLP are doing right now, the people, they'll tolerate it.
Yeah.
They won't tolerate it from white people. I don't agree with it. Let me be clear. I don't agree with it. I do not agree with that, because wrong is wrong regardless of race, gender, whatever you identify as. But the people of Bermuda, as you can see, will tolerate a lot more from people like David Byrd and the PLP than they would white people.
Yeah. And I think it's the representation. You know what I mean? They didn't. If you talk to most people, most of the swing voter, most of the vote that the OBA will pull from the traditional PLP, if you talk to them, they will let you know that it's just something that's about them, and they fail to connect with those people, and that's where they lost it.
Yeah, I think Michael Fay was a version of David Colonel Birch. The thing is, people took them a while to gravitate towards Colonel Birch, and people forget that. Colonel Birch was a hard-to-elect person. Michael Fay could not be that person because they framed him as the white Canadian. So that once they framed him as that, he was an enemy.
Yeah, and right? Different emotions.
Right, and they failed to come, and that was my disappointment in Michael Dunkley and Michael Fay and Jeff Barron. You guys did not realize that you could not govern in a manner that the PLP could, and it harmed you. It harmed you.
Don't forget Bob Richards.
What's that?
Don't forget Bob Richards, and I know you mean in the racial context,
right? And I thought Bob was the coolest person, Bob Richards. But again, Maya, I know you got more to do. I'm sorry.
We can definitely continue this conversation after the news break.
News.
Closing out with my sports this morning, everyone. So Dara Alizadeh has qualified for the Olympic Games in Paris after finishing fourth in the men's singles sculls, finished at the World Rowing Americas Olympic and Paralympic qualifications over the past weekend. Now, I got to actually speak with Dara and about how he felt after qualifying for his second Olympics. And here's what he had to say about it. It's quite interesting.
To tell you the truth, it's been such a up and down, crazy, like physically, emotionally, everything, 72 hours of competing, that by the time I actually crossed the line, it's funny, I had a very different kind of vision in my head over the last years of training of what that moment would look like and feel like and everything like that. And I think because the past 72 hours have been such a roller coaster of emotions and different things going on, ups and downs, by the time I actually crossed the finish line, I was while I was stoked, it was just sort of like, oh, okay, cool. Which is so anticlimactic, right? Because that's like the moment you shoot your fist in the air and you're like, I made it.
Yes, congrats to you. And shout out to you, Maya. You keep getting these interviews. Rowing's a small sport in Bermuda, most of us probably don't know anything about it, but we're learning more. And hopefully, as we go forward with whoever qualifies, I know the sailors still have a chance, a couple of the cyclists still have a chance. We get to connect with them because we often talk about our Olympians and how can we learn and stuff. But if we're not connecting with them, it's not going to happen because we're going to be the ones to teach the next generation. But if a connection is not formed, it's going to be very difficult.
The idea of rowing just made my arms tired. I'm sorry.
Actually, funny enough, it's not even about the arms because I asked him that question, like, what's something people always think about rowing is that's not really true because it's not the arms that are strong, it's your legs. Your legs are so overworked. The arms, she's like, the arms are 10%. The legs are more than 90.
Go to the gym and go on the rowing machine.
Legs.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna have that full interview out on my website tomorrow morning. It's actually really interesting. He says some hilarious things, some really inspirational things. So definitely interested to get that out so you guys can actually know more about rowing and Dara as well as he goes into the Olympics. Now, closing out with our weather today, it's not looking good. It's looking like cloudy, rain, showers, heavy thunder at sometimes, maybe easing later. Hopefully, we still have a high of 72, so you know that humidity is just gonna be so weird and off today. Strong gale force gust winds as well. So look, if you're on the bike, in the car, wherever, just be mindful, be safe on those roads. Try not to splash the ones who are on the bikes. Go slow in them puddles, but just be mindful today, everyone.
Yeah, try not to splash anybody on purpose.
And motorists, be wary of the potholes. The water potholes, and
you can't see it. Go slow.
You got some. What's the days of the year? I know there's some good ones today.
All right, International Read to Me Day. And of course, this sits close to me because I read to my son, try to at least every day. And it's just celebrating the magic of reading.
All righty. I also want to give a shout out to all our people. We have plenty of in our lives. And I want to make sure that Larry's not on the couch, but it is Social Work Day. So World Social Work Day. So shout out to the better half of Larry Marshall Jr., to his wife, who is social worker, right? And then we've got
she works in that field-ish, but she's not a social worker.
Yeah, and then we've got Sister Sherry. Sherry. Yeah, my sister. So all of you, show appreciation. That's how you celebrate. Show appreciation to a social worker, attend a World Social Work Day event, and promote World Social Work Day. All right. So before you all go, because I know you haven't seen me in a while, and Maya wants a joke. So I've got a morning joke for you.
It's like Wednesday afternoon at this point. It's the end of the show.
Well, I mean, this is why we did break earlier. Here we go. Time for a little jokey joke. Here we go. See, somebody's happy. All right, here you go, guys. Hold up. Let me make sure my laugh button's there. Okay, it's right there.
You're gonna need it.
Larry and Maya, why did the coffee file a police report?
Because he was getting dunked by a donut? Oh, no.
Rude. So, I don't know.
Because it got mugged. Get it? Coffee goes in a mug.
That's clever.
Yeah.
Clever.
It was on the low end of clever. I like that.
She said the low end of clever.
Okay. Thank you, Suzanne England. She said jokes are good. She liked
Dave and Maya burst out laughing. I think we're clipping that. We're sending it to every single. It's probably going to be our most liked video ever.
His jokes aren't the jokes that are going to make me laugh. Like, knock jokes ain't it.
I'm got another one for you soon. Don't worry. You have a wonderful day, MP. We're going to take our final break, folks. We're going to do the giveaway from last week. We got a giveaway from last week, so we got to do that. And then, see, Karen got it. I got mugged. We ain't worrying about people like Charles talking about that joke was mugged. We ain't worrying about that.
That was funny.
That was kind of funny.
We got the giveaway, and then we've got the daily play, and then we've got daily inspiration. Don't go anywhere. We'll wrap it up after this. But folks, if you appreciated this morning's conversation, our extended news break, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share the conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues, and stick with us. We'll be right back after this.
Hi there, welcome to Medical House. We're located at number 6 Bakery Lane. I can't wait to show you all of the great stuff that we carry. Come on inside, let's see. Let's kick it off in the footwear department. When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic, and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talks, and DeWalt. The list goes on. Take a look at our workwear for construction workers and tradesmen. Durable, stretchable in all the right places, and plenty of options for tools and accessories. Here with our wide range of tough and comfortable footwear, you can't go wrong. Long days, long shifts, you no longer have to endure comfortable underwear. Designed by nurses, we now offer premium undergarments by Swoop that are unique, fun, comfortable, and functional. The only underwear you'll ever want to wear. Who says high-quality functional products can be stylish and comfortable at the same time? Speaking of stylish, we also have top-quality running, walking, and workout apparel by Skechers in a variety of sizes for men and women. Cool, breathable, and dry. With our wide selection of Skechers footwear, you'll look great before, during, and after your workout. As you can see, Medical House really is a one-stop shop for everybody. We can't wait to see you.
You'll be surprised at everything we have to offer at our huge new retail and wholesale location on Bakery Lane.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring we can do this show with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right. Are you ready, Larry?
I'm bringing it on.
All right, audience, are you ready? Are you ready for this one? Everybody ready? All right. If someone gets the answer, you will be entered into this week's prize. Here we go. It's a remember when. What year did Brian Wellman become the indoor world champion?
1995.
All right. He didn't give you all a chance. You know, I don't think people understand how remarkable that achievement is. You know, we speak about first. You know, you had a world champion, like number one in the world, in triple jump. That's huge for a small country like Bermuda.
Yeah, and bigger than that, he gets hurt because he didn't come up in the age of social media. Because right now on social media, everyone will have it. But as I would have been 12 at the time, and watching him in the mid-90s compete, he was the only Bermudian on ESPN, man. It was the old Golden League. And as somebody who wanted to be aspired to be in that space, I looked up to him. It gave me hope. Yeah, a Bermudian's out there. And we often talk about the representation. And you know, he is one of those people that I was able to see, and it just was helpful going forward. So, you know, shout out to him and you know, the people that came before us, because at the end of the day, representation matters. And it was a huge thing. You know what I mean? I would be in track circles in the mid 2000s and say Bermuda, oh, Brian, how's he doing? And this, that, and the other. So it was just a big deal in track and field.
Indeed, indeed. Final thoughts on today's show. I mean, we spoke about some destinations. I mean, destinations that would make sense, or thoughts on expanded air service to Bermuda.
Yeah, firstly, you know, we're happy that it is a bit more service than we currently have. And, you know, at the end of the day, if we can get more and it's beneficial for Bermuda, bring it on. I think everyone is in agreement with that. And we just want to see, we just want to make it work. And that's all I've got with that.
Indeed. I'll say this much. You know, I think one thing we have to do is remember that these airlines are businesses. They're not doing anything to satisfy people's feelings. If Bermuda has the beds, then they'll have the seats. Yeah. I think what we're all forgetting is the reason we have so much more air service to Bermuda is because Bermuda Air. That's 5 additional destinations right there in terms of air service. So I say that because we have a role to play in that.
Yes.
It'll be easy now that these other airports and airlines are offering up because of the summer to ditch Bermuda Air. But then when we need Bermuda Air, when those flights tend to leave us, who's to say they're going to be there for us if we don't support them now? This is not a promo. They're not paying me to say any of this. I'm just telling you from an economic perspective, it makes more sense to support the one that's going to be there for you long term.
Yeah. And we need Bermuda Air to be for long term for us. We need it.
Yeah, indeed. And again, let me just say, this is not a paid promo. This just makes simple sense to me. Any daily inspiration, Larry?
Yes. And this is from legendary track and field athlete Carl Lewis. It's all about the journey, not the outcome.
All righty. I like that. The journey, folks. Focus on the journey. Folks, please don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the VAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a regular basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. He's Larry Marshall Jr. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are is out. Peace.